Hi everyone, welcome to Learn with Israel YouTube channel. Let's practice biology episode 4 for JAMB. Are you ready? Let's go. Question 61. Which of the following organisms exhibit extracellular digestion? Which of the following organisms exhibit extracellular digestion? A. Mold, B. Green plant, C. Algae, D. Bryophyte. Bryophyte is a non-vascular plant. Bryophyte is out of the correct option. An example of bryophyte include the mosses, liverworts, and hornworts. Mosses, liverworts, and hornworts. Option C, algae. Algae is a unicellular organism which is also out of it because the question says which of the following organisms exhibit extracellular digestion. Algae does not exhibit extracellular digestion. Option B, green plant. Green plants is the plant that manufacture their food by themselves in the presence of sunlight. It is also out of the correct option. They manufacture their food by themselves in the presence of sunlight. So the correct answer is option A. Option A, which is mold. Mold is the organism which exhibits extracellular digestion. And where can we find mold? We can find it in what we eat, for example, bread. If you leave your bread open for a few days or weeks, you will see some green particles on it. That is the mold. That is the mold. And mold is part of fungi. And we all know that fungi exhibit extracellular digestion too. So fungi is the correct answer. Question 62. Example of organism in which extracellular digestion occur are dash. A. Fungus, B. Loranthus, an housefly, B. Rhizopus, sponges, and networm, C. Roundworm, tapeworm, and hydra, C. Rhizopus, housefly, and hydra. Rhizopus is extracellular. Anywhere I write E, that represents extracellular. Housefly is also extracellular, and hydra is also extracellular, which makes option D the correct answer. Roundworm and tapeworm are intracellular. In option C, it is only hydra that is extracellular. So option C is also wrong. Rhizopus is extracellular, while sponges and networm are also wrong. Fungus is also known as rhizopus, while rhizopus is also known as fungus. So fungus is extracellular. Loranthus is wrong, is a parasitic plant, while housefly is also extracellular. Assuming Loranthus is not here, we would have go with option A, but since it is there, option A is also wrong. Option D is the correct answer. So example of organism in which extracellular digestion occur are rhizopus, housefly, and hydra. There are also other organisms, but we are dealing with the options here. So now let's continue. Question 63. Fungi produce a chemical called dash. A. Testosterone, B. Hormone, C. Pheromone, D. Cordyceps. I know some people will be like, what's cordyceps? Cordyceps is a parasitic plant. Let me write it PP. Cordyceps is a parasitic plant, and it is a fungi, which is wrong. It is a fungi. It's not a chemical. Pheromone is the correct answer. The question says fungi produce a chemical called dash pheromone. Pheromone is also an hormone produced by the fungi, which is the correct answer. Hormone is wrong. Pheromone is a type of hormone, which makes hormone the wrong answer here. Testosterone is a male hormone. A male hormone is also wrong. It is found in the male reproductive system. So the fungi produce a chemical called pheromone, which is an hormone. I hope you understand now. Question 64. The symbiotic association between algae and fungi is dash. A. Lichens, B. Scavengers, C. Commensalism, D. Mycorrhiza. What's mycorrhiza? Let's start from option D. Mycorrhiza is also symbiotic association between root of a plant. Roots of a plant. Root of a plant and fungi. Assuming the question says like this, the symbiotic association between root of a plant and fungi is mycorrhiza. We would have go with option D. But since it is algae, option D is wrong. So what's commensalism? Commensalism is the process in which an organism benefits while the other organism does not gain nor lose. So commensalism is not a symbiotic association. It's a type of association but not symbiotic. Scavenger. We also have animals that are scavenger, which are hyena and vulture. They feed on decayed organisms or dead animals, which is wrong. Lichens is the correct answer. Lichens is the symbiotic association between algae and fungi. And how do they benefit from each other? Let me explain. Fungi protect algae while algae produce food for fungi. So let me give an example. If you want to have a friend that two of you will be doing symbiotic association, not a friend that is parasitic or commensalism, where you just have a friend that will not gain anything or lose. It just be there. It just be remain as the same way. So I'm citing this example. So once you see this kind of question, you'll be able to answer it correctly. Question 65. Symbiosis is what? I think I've discussed that earlier in this last question. A relationship between two organisms where both benefit. B, a relationship between two organisms where one organism lives inside the body of the other. C, a relationship between two organisms where one benefits and other is harmed. D, a relationship between two organisms where one benefits and the other is unaffected. So option D is wrong. Option D is the definition of commensalism, which I discussed earlier, in which a relationship between two organisms where one benefits and the other does not gain or lose, which is also known as unaffected. So option C is parasitic, is also out. Is the definition of parasite, a relationship between two organisms where one benefits and other is harmed. Option B is also parasite, a relationship between two organisms where one organism lives inside the body of the other. That's also parasite. The correct answer is A, because I have also discussed that earlier. Relationship between two organisms where both benefit is symbiosis. So now, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, share and subscribe to Learn with Israel for more. Question 66. One common characteristic of fungi, algae, mosses and ferns is that they dash. A, show alternation of generation. B, reproduce sexually by conjugation. C, possess chlorophyll in their tissues. D, produce spores that are dispersed. Fungi, algae, mosses and ferns produce spores that are dispersed, but not all algae produces spores. So option D is wrong. Option C, possess chlorophyll in their tissues. All these doesn't possess chlorophyll because they are not green plant. They are also out of it. Option C is out. Option B, reproduce sexually by conjugation. No, it's only Spirogyra that reproduce. So don't mind my spelling. Spirogyra, this is the correct spelling. It is only Spirogyra that reproduce sexually by conjugation. So option B is out. The correct answer is option A. Common characteristic of fungi, algae, mosses and ferns is that they show alternation of generation. So what's alternation of generation? Alternation of generation is the life cycle and stages which they pass through from their birth to death, from when they are born to when they die. So that's the alternation of generation. I hope you understand now. So let's continue. But before we continue with question 67, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Learn with Israel for more. Question 67. Certain plants such as fungi reproduce asexually by dash. A. Budding, B. Binary fission, C. Spore, D. Rhizome. Let's start from rhizome. What's rhizome? Rhizome is an underground plant such as ginger. It's an underground plant such as ginger, which is also out of the correct option. Spore, which is the correct answer. Fungi reproduce asexually by spore. I discussed it in question 66, where I talk about characteristics of fungi in which they produce spores that are dispersed. So spore is the correct answer. For binary fission, that's amoeba. Amoeba reproduces asexually by binary fission, while yeast reproduces asexually by budding. So A and B are also wrong. I'm just putting it down so in case you see this kind of question, you'll be able to answer it correctly. So let's continue. Question 68. Which of the following statements about microorganisms is true? Which of the following statements about microorganisms is true? A. Microorganisms are not important for ecological balance. B. They are only found in soil and water. C. They can be both beneficial and harmful. D. All microorganisms are harmful to humans. That's wrong. Not all microorganisms are harmful to humans. So microorganisms are used for vaccination and medicine, which is used to boost our body immune system. So option C, they can be both beneficial and harmful. Yes, that's the correct answer. Some microorganisms are beneficial while some are harmful. They are only found in soil and water. No. Microorganisms are not important for ecological balance. No, they are important for ecological balance because they are harmful and they are also beneficial. Question 69. Which of the following divisions are most advanced? A. Pteridophyte, B. Bryophyte, C. Talophyte, D. Gymnosperm. Gymnosperm are the most advanced. I talked about this particular question in episode 3, where I talk about the talophyte, the schizophyte, bryophyte, pteridophyte, and spermatophyte. So the list here is the talophyte. The list is the talophyte. Now to bryophyte. Now to the pteridophyte. And now, which is the last, to the gymnosperm. So the most advanced is the gymnosperm. And if you need more clarification on this question, you can check episode 3 for those that have not watched it, so you can have a better understanding. So talophyte, bryophyte, and pteridophyte are all wrong. Question 70. Who states that all cells come from cells? A. Louis Pasteur, B. Gregor Mendel, C. Rudolf Virchow, D. Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill is out because Winston Churchill is a prime minister. Rudolf Virchow is the one who stated that all cells come from cells. So Rudolf Virchow is the correct answer. They can ask you in your exam that who stated that all cells come from cells. So once you see this kind of question, you'll be able to answer it correctly. Gregor Mendel, we all know who Gregor Mendel is. Gregor Mendel is the father of genetics. I've discussed that in the previous episode. Gregor Mendel is the father of genetics, which is also wrong. And Louis Pasteur is the father of microbiology. Louis Pasteur is the father of microbiology, which is also wrong. So Rudolf Virchow is the correct answer. Question 71. The movement of water molecule out of the cell into the surrounding is called dash. A. Hypotonic, B. Endosmosis, C. Exosmosis, D. Isotonic. Let's start from isotonic. Isotonic is equal concentration. Equal concentration. This conc represents concentration, while exosmosis is when water molecule out of cell, when they leave the cell, while endosmosis is when they enter into the cell, while hypotonic is lower concentration. And we also have hypertonic, which also means the higher absolute concentration. So here the correct answer is exosmosis, because the question says the movement of water molecule out of the cell, and that's the definition of exosmosis, out of the cell. Assuming the question is written as this way, the movement of water molecule into the cell, that would be endosmosis, but since it is out of the cell, it is exosmosis. So question 72. Lack of iron in a woman diet causes dash: A. Goiter, B. Anemia, C. River blindness, D. kwashiorkor. Let's start from kwashiorkor. For the elimination, kwashiorkor is a protein deficiency. People that don't eat too much of protein, or people that don't eat protein, which will later cause malnutrition in their body system. While river blindness is caused by black fly, and this black fly, once it bites, it can cause permanent blindness for a person. And this river blindness, once it bites, it can cause crashing or itching of the body. So river blindness and kwashiorkor does not have anything to do with lack of iron. Anemia is the correct answer. Lack of iron in a woman diet causes anemia, which is also known as iron deficiency. So goiter is iodine deficiency, and it occurs when there is a swelling in the gland. In the neck region, to be precise. Question 73. Presence of oxygen in cellular respiration is dash: A. Anaerobic respiration, B. Mitochondrion, C. Aerobic respiration, D. Photosynthesis. Let's start from photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process in which green plants gain their food or manufacture their food by themselves through the presence of sunlight. So photosynthesis is out. Aerobic respiration is the presence of oxygen in cellular respiration, so it's the correct answer. Mitochondria, we all know what mitochondrion is: the powerhouse of the cell. It's also wrong. Why anaerobic respiration is the absence of oxygen in cellular respiration. So the difference between aerobic and anaerobic is that aerobic possess presence of oxygen, while anaerobic possess absence of oxygen. I hope you guys understand it now. So if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Learn with Israel for more. Question 74. Autotrophs are also known as dash producers: A. Primary producers, B. Secondary producers, C. Tertiary producers, D. Main producers. Main producers is out of it. Autotrophs, which are green plants, they are also known as the primary producer. And they are the ones that start the food chain. I hope you guys understand it now. Question 75. The basic functioning unit of nature is dash: A. Cell, B. Nucleus, C. Ecosystem, D. Atoms. Atom is a term in chemistry. It does not have anything to do with the unit of nature. Ecosystem is the correct answer. The basic functioning unit of nature is ecosystem. While nucleus, we all know what nucleus is. Nucleus is the control center of the cell. Which is wrong. While cell is the basic unit of life. Assuming nature is not here, assuming this nature is represented with life, would have go with option A. Once it is in nature, ecosystem is the correct answer. Question 76. All are examples of holozoic organisms except one: A. Scavenger, B. Parasite, C. Carnivore, D. Autotroph. Autotroph is a green plant. I've discussed this earlier. Autotroph is a green plant, which is the correct answer. Carnivore, parasites, and scavenger are all holozoic organisms, and we are looking for the one that is not holozoic, which is autotroph. And all these carnivore, parasite, and scavenger, they cannot manufacture their food by themselves. That's the meaning of holozoic. They cannot manufacture their food by themselves except with the process of another organism. And this holozoic is this type of heterotrophic organism. I hope we all know the meaning of heterotrophic organism, to depend on others for survival. Question 77. The transfer of nutrients from organism to organism in a feeding path is dash. A. Food web, B. Food chain, C. Ecosystem, D. Life cycle. Let's start from life cycle. What's life cycle? Life cycle, I discussed that earlier. Life cycle is the process in which an organism is given birth to, is the stage of birth to death. That's life cycle, which is wrong. Ecosystem is also the physical place where organisms interact, which is also wrong. Food chain is the correct answer. Food chain is the transfer of nutrients from organism to organism in the feeding path. So food chain is the correct answer. Why? Food web is an extension of food chain, and it is very complex. Extension of food chain, and it's very complex. So let's move to question 78. Dash is used for movement and capturing food in amoeba. A. Pseudopodia, B. Cilia, C. Contractile vacuole, D. Nucleus. Nucleus is the control center of the cell. I discussed that the other time, which is wrong. Contractile vacuole is also part of amoeba, but what it does is that it performs the function of osmoregulation. It regulates and excretes excess water in amoeba, while cilia is used for movement in paramecium. Cilia is used for movement in paramecium, which is also wrong. Contractile vacuole is also wrong, but the one which is used for movement and capturing food in amoeba is pseudopodia. JAMB always repeat this question every year. Pseudopodia is used for movement and capturing food in amoeba. So for more easy lessons like this, subscribe to Learn with Israel and join the family. So once I drop episode 5, you'll be the first person to watch the video. So now to question 79. Urea formation occur in the dash. A. Kidney, B. Lungs, C. Liver, D. Skin. We all know that skin protects our body. Liver is the correct answer because urea formation occur in the liver. While lungs, we all know the function of lungs. Lungs deals with respiration, while kidney deals with osmoregulation, because it is the kidney that regulates water balance in our body and excretes excess water in the body. I hope we all know this function now. So once we see this kind of question dealing with this option, we'll be able to answer it correctly. Question 8, which is the last question for episode 4. Inactivity of animal during summer is dash. A. Migration, B. Estivation, C. Emigration, D. Hibernation. Inactivity of animal during summer is estivation, but inactivity of animal during winter, assuming the question is inactivity of animal during winter, it will be hibernation. So the difference between hibernation and estivation is that hibernation is the inactivity of animal during winter, while estivation is the inactivity of animal during summer. I hope that is clear. So for emigration is the process in which an organism leaves an area or out of an area. They leaves the area. While migration is the process in which organisms move from one place to the other. They don't stay in one place, they just migrate from one place to the other. So that's migration. I hope that is clear. If you have any question pertaining to this episode, you can drop it in the comment section and I'll make sure I reply to it all. Thanks for watching Learn with Israel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more easy lesson and exam practice. Keep learning and keep growing. See you in the next video. Bye.